So last time we spoke, you spoke about backward and forward linkage, which you think is the strength that you should be focusing on. Now, backward and forward linkage, it involves a lot of things, right? You have to say work with the person, the marketing. It talks about market linkage, and then it talks about farmer relationship. It talks about aggregation, which is a huge thing, which is the say decider about the ultimate price that will be there. So these are the bigger issues, right? And if you don't make them into stories, like say while dealing with farmers, what all happened, because during an interview you will tell one theoretical part, like say you were doing, so suppose somebody asks you about what were your achievements, you tell your achievements, this and that, and then you share your insights about how you dealt with a farmer relationship and aggregation part. These are the two aspects which can cover, like say, through 2-3 hours easily, right? So which are the stories, aspects you should share? So that is what we will decide during all our interaction, right? So as you say, I'll go on writing that, and then you can correct, right? So the first week is whatever we have done is, like say, personality test and interpretation we have done, strength test we did, passion test we did. Now we can do a goal setting exercise, discovering your professional purpose and plan for achievement. How we will achieve. You were saying that you will be applying for director position and all. We'll start looking for all those positions and start modifying your resume accordingly and the cover letters, and start interacting with them. So that is what will be first week. So my next slide will be like, what is your vision going forward? What big vision you have? Just tell whatever you think, not in a proper sentence or phrase, whatever comes to your mind.
So, so as I am free, so I am thinking to find out my vision. Sometimes I feel that so I can put the impact in the lives. Second thing is that so something on the lives. So it's that impactful today, that thoughts in came. And second thing is that so it is a social thing. So gaining personal benefit, it is nothing is there. So monetary benefit. So sometimes my analytic mind saying that so it is not gaining in terms of monetary benefit. So I am confused now that so should I take my goal towards the social cause, or take a goal for professional achievement?
Okay. So the confusion is, let me do in a lower confusion.
So it is, since I am thinking that whenever I set a goal, so my inclination is towards visualizing to bring the changes in a society. So impact, to bring the impact. Maybe this inclination is this, because of this inclination I have chosen the social sector. I don't know. So, but however, uh, so because to choose that path, it is very difficult one.
Yeah. Okay. No. So like my vision, if I can tell you, my vision is the same confusion I had, right? So if whatever I am earning is well enough to maintain my family, but whatever extra impacting lives, so if we go for that, then our salaries are not enough, right? We need some extra money, some investment might be coming, so that we can direct it to social cause, isn't it that? So
Yeah.
Now that money will not come to us individually, while we are individually trying to impact. Why? Because whatever vision we have, it is not the vision of the entire team, right? Wherever you are working. So you cannot go on explaining everything to everybody and also take their concurrence. So where from this money will come? So that is where you need to have a monetary aspect to your vision as well. So I have a vision, like say impacting 1 billion lives in 139 countries with a $1 billion enterprise, right? So that is my vision. So you can have similar kind of vision. So how that will happen, we will not bother right now. Let us work on, like say that, should I put that vision? Like say, where is your vision?
So it is, so the thought which I have owned. So I thought that so I can impact more than 1 lakh families through farming activities. So that was the vision.
1 lakh families through farming activities. Okay. Which means like say approximately 5 lakh people.
Uh, Families around 3.5 lakhs.
Okay. As you say. Do you have any area where you want to work?
So yes, earlier I am working with the organization where I have developed this paper by my own. So I thought that South India. So it is not confined to a particular location. So maybe I can say that South India.
Which area?
South India.
South India. South India. So because if you specify your place, then you will know where these people are, right? So South India is a, like say 4 states again. So
Yeah.
South India, which state? Tamil Nadu or
Not Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana.
North Tamil Nadu, AP, Telangana. Okay, this place, right? So all these will be South AP, South Telangana, right? That particular area.
Not south, not like that. So it's open for entire state.
So when you become specific, actually your goal starts, your dream starts happening. That is why I'm
Yeah. So entire Telangana, entire Karnataka, maybe Karnataka, North Karnataka.
okay. So family. So what will be the activity?
Can we take the goal or vision so in this way?
In these states, yes, we have taken these states, but what will be the activity? Which particular activity you want to be engaged in with? Backward and forward linkages?
That will be one of the steps. So one is that water security.
Water security. Yes.
And sustainable farming,
Sustainable farming,
cla- climate change,
climate change,
carbon sequestration,
carbon segmentation.
uh,
Okay.
segmentation. It is not sequestration. So carbon credit. Maybe you can say carbon credit.
Okay.
And
Still there?
huh?
The carbon credit concept is still there. Somebody
It
told
is,
me it is not there anymore.
no, no. So it is now booming up. It
Oh,
is now. It is now coming up.
wow.
Maybe
Very
next 5 to 10 years, we can say in a real happening. So I
wow.
have developed a proposal on it. I have contributed to it, and however, somehow it is not materialized
Hmm.
because of FCRA issue like that. But it is how to bring in a implementation stage that models are working. Different agencies, different donors agency, they are working on it.
Okay. So you are now having your FCRA thing, right? Right?
No, no. Right now, I'm out of the organization, so I'm a single alone person. No.
Okay. Okay.
So when I'm working with the WOTR at that time, so I have chosen 5 to 6 districts in Telangana to cover almost 1 lakh household. So at that, with the involvement of research team, so we have initiated the proposal. So
Hmm.
somehow, maybe due to FCRA, it is not materialized.
Hmm.
Uh, but carbon credit is
WOTR
now.
didn't have a FCRA.
Hmm?
WOTR didn't have a FCRA.
So it hasn't been kept on hold. So
Oh,
maybe that follow up is going on.
okay.
So
Okay. Carbon credit. What else?
so again, that backward and forward linkages.
Okay.
So ecology, uh, ecology.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it. Uh,
So the financial flow. Just tell me a tentative way how this money is going to flow. Just a tentative one.
again, I think it is not wise to float my own organization because that is not sustainable.
Hmm.
So wherever the organizations they are working on this aspect, maybe I can associate with that.
Yeah.
That is the one possibilities. Mm,
Or, organizations which are already working. Okay. So in LinkedIn, so many people come up to me saying that they have FCRA. So how to go ahead and work together, all that. So maybe I can give them your details so that they can approach you.
okay.
And there is one organization where an ex-SIDBI person also has an organization which also has FCRA, and she is a very good, she has very good contact over all the people, no, influential people. I'll also connect you with her so that you can utilize her organization to build up now what all you need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but her organization will be in Kerala.
Hmm.
Okay. So mission is to take take care of climate risk and have the well-being of 1 lakh families. Is this okay? Or something else you want to add?
Maybe at this point of time, I think this will be okay because again, splitting. So I don't know. So we can go do the direction.
Yeah, slowly it will open up, no, as we go more and more, it will come up. So immediate goal is what I understand is to get associated with potential organizations, as a consultant or as a um, strategic advisor or a board member or a CEO. Is this okay?
Maybe that could not be the immediate goal.
What is your immediate goal then?
Maybe again that depend on that how big the organization would be.
Okay, so associated with potential organization can be the immediate goal,
Yeah.
but later on, maybe subsequent goal maybe.
So organization could be non-profit or the organization like that the company floated foundations or the CSR that things.
Non-profit or the CSR wing. Is this okay? CSR wing of bigger organizations. For profit organizations. Is this okay? Anand, is this okay? I'm not able to hear you.
1 minute. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. So we have immediate goal and then a subsequent goal, right? So subsequent goal will be, let's say, 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Then experiences on I had written forward and backward linkage, but you have lot other also.
And watershed.
Watson also, right?
Watershed.
Watershed. Okay.
And water neutrality.
Watershed and water
Neutrality.
neutrality.
Hmm.
Okay. So
So here I want to say something about all these domain, these things. So I am very good in grounding the activity on all these components. So irrespective of grassroots difficulties.
Wait, proficiency. So I was asking another thing in between proficiency. I was asking if I say, suppose all the things are there, right?
Instead of backward and forward linkage, maybe we can say that social capital formation.
Earlier, right?
Yeah.
Where is this?
No, no. Instead of backward and forward linkage, so we may say that to sustain these all these activities, so there should be that some institutional requirement is there. So for that we need to do the interventions or build the capacities on social capital.
Huh. So suppose you are given a profile of all this, right?
Yeah.
So just give me which one you will prioritize first. Like say what will be your area and which are the areas which you will delegate to a team, right? Suppose you are hired for that.
So one is the watershed.
Watershed is the first, right?
Yeah.
Huh.
What
Yes.
water neutrality, both the first.
Second.
Uh, so I'm working quite some time on watershed, water neutrality, climate change, sustainable farming. So these are all. So it is a combined priority, and it come in package. Without that, it can't be addressed.
Yes. So ecology is part of that, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So let us take ecology also. And all these are ecology only, part of
Yeah,
ecology.
yeah, carbon credit also ecology. Maybe competency in terms of giving a calculation, maybe some that theoretical aspect may be changed. So, however, while implementation, all this put together, so it will be there.
So ecology and carbon credit, as I heard you, are together, right?
Hmm.
That can be the second thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And social capital, this is again, this is the third, I think.
So when we work on first, again, social capital formation is like essential. So when we work with the community, so the goal is there to reach out more than 1 lakh families. So it
Hmm.
is essential. So whenever we work on first, also that begin with social capital.
This is the first activity when you start the intervention, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And this is the third, I think. Water neutrality will be the second thing. What do you say? Is this the third one or second one?
Second.
This one is the second, right?
Hmm.
Has it come well? Okay. Okay, Anand, can you see?
So preference, in terms of preference, social capital, it could not be the first preference. So whenever while doing the second and third preference, so that required maybe. So
So, okay, see, this is the order of execution, let us say. And when I go to the next slide, this will be sequence, preference. In preference, your preference will be to be engaged in the second part, right?
second and third.
Second and third.
Yeah.
So preference, first preference. So first preference will be, so between second and third, which one should be the one?
Yeah. So it is in order. So second would be the first and third will be the second.
Okay.
Because watershed, water neutrality, sustainable farming, and climate change intervention that lead to water neutral carbon credit and these things. So that is the advanced version of the first.
So what happens, Anand, you will be required to, suppose you are associating with some organization, They will not be doing the entire end-to-end thing. So they will be asking you to do something. So suppose you have to take a choice. Then if your first preference is something else which they are not looking, then whichever organization is that, we will put that in a second stage, right? We will not take that as your first choice. So that is the idea behind putting this sequence. And
So again, we can dive into that operational part of it also. So the organization which work on these thematics, so they required that operational part also.
what they will be doing is, they will be doing in one segment. They will not be doing entire end-to-end. It is only organizations like WOTR which does one end-to-end, right? There are very few organizations which are very big, they do end-to-end, but others will do a small segment of it, whatever is no bothering them. Suppose somebody is bothered about this livelihoods, they will be doing only sustainable farming project kind. Projects will come like that only, na? So suppose you know which are your preferences, then you can accordingly appear the interview. Sometimes what happens is you have to get into, suppose there is a position, very senior position, right? And they are doing a small thing, right? So what because you will create lot of influence, you will feel like getting into that, and practically that should be the way forward, because you will create influence in a bigger area, bigger visibility, then people will know you, right? People don't recruit these days. If you must have, that is why your problem is, right? Because people don't see yet what is happening to the entire population. They look at how much influence they are able to generate, right? So when you go working there, you will do very little. A small segment you might be handling, but you will be creating a lot of influence, because you can know what is behind, what is forward, and where you are. The way forward you will be able to give these people. Then it becomes easier for you and the organization to move forward faster and take smaller organization into doing the other components. Then it becomes a bigger movement. You are not doing everything. You are having people, but those people also need guidance. Who will guide them unless you are there? Are you getting my point?
So not completely.
What I am saying, let me explain. This is very important. Suppose here, let us look at the screen, right? The least, according to me, is water neutrality, right? Amongst other things. Other things I have already worked, so I know are huge things. But water neutrality, I haven't worked. And so far, because it has not yet come up, and because maybe in your area, this is important. So what will happen going forward, somebody might be working in water neutrality only, the smallest thing. And you are offered a very senior position there. So tell me, what should be your decision? What will be your decision? You will go for it or not?
Because again, so So, for example, so the water neutrality, which need to be addressed by the company under their corporate sustainability, because they have a lot of water they have to extracting from the groundwater, and somehow to comply to the act, relevant act, so they have to be compensate that.
Hmm.
To do that, so not only they have to do the lot of rain harvesting structures within the campus and within the fence and outside the area.
Hmm.
So to do the water neutrality, again we have to do that, the larger part of watershed activities. So we have to work with the communities. So here, so water neutrality, so we have to give the uh, evidence, scientific evidence that this much of investment and this much of neutrality has been, potentiality has been created.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. But if you see the ones that we had described out here, doesn't include any of this. A bit maybe working with communities, capacity building that you have mentioned, but
Yeah,
this has come up as a new area.
yeah,
But you know it is related.
yeah,
Only you know that it is related.
yeah,
You know that rainwater harvesting has to be there if we are going for this water neutrality.
yeah. All the component, it is cross section, it's cross cutting all the verticals.
Huh. But they will ask you to work on the water neutrality only.
Yeah,
And the position is for that only. You would be required to advise on the water neutrality. That will be your job.
yeah.
Then what you need to do is, these are the associated activities for which you don't have budget, right? Maybe I am saying just a hypothetical situation. Corporate CSR activities, you know, they are very skewed, no, very blinded by other things. Whatever they do, only they do that. That has been my experience. So, but they will offer you good money and good position, right? Then you do what? You can only say that rainwater harvesting structures need to be in place, and working with community is required, their awareness building.
And water neutrality, again the crop will also come.
Crops also, what crops?
Maybe if that within that area the farmers through the corporate interventions we able to save some water, so
Hmm.
that saving part is also, we can say that due to these interventions this much of quantity of water being saved.
Crop specific
Interventions.
to save water.
Hmm.
Yes. So all these things will be subsequent to whatever you are saying, right?
Yeah,
So these are not in your initial 2 3 points, but you know why these are required, right?
yeah,
So now what can you see that you have to, uh, like say you have to bring on your previous experience about rainwater harvesting, working with community awareness building, anything and everything, right? So let us keep it here and then go forward. I'll arrange it, don't worry, right? In subsequent calls, I'll arrange all of that. So what do you love doing? These are your professional aspects which you have over a period of time, because you have worked in these areas, you have come to love them, right? You love doing all this because all your career you have done this, and you have seen people benefited, and that there like really there has been some impact, and people's lives, quality of life has changed in front of your eyes. Their livelihoods have gone up. Their choice of livelihoods, basket of livelihoods choices have gone up. All this you have seen, right? But as a child, or back of your mind, if you are given something else, what would that be? For example, I'll tell myself, I did whatever you have done all my life, right? Right now, what I am doing?
Yeah, building, impacting.
So the thing that I am doing, why I am doing, because I can see people have lot of potential, but they lose direction. When they have career crisis or career choices, there is nobody to bring that out. It is not advice. It is just asking the right question so that you decide for yourself what is the correct thing you should do. So I'll be asking you a lot of questions, this, that, and bringing out that. I thought that is a much more important uh, task going ahead than getting directly involved in, say, watershed and other things. Although I love like anything, if you give me that work, I'm just immersed in that. I stayed in 16 states. I stayed in remote villages. I stayed in forests. You name it, and I did that. Away from my family and away from civilization and away from this city life and everything. The other thing is writing stories for other. Like say, when I was working, illiterate ladies, they became governing board members of the district committees. Illiterate ladies, they were never out of their homes, but they could be member of district governing board. What does that mean? They always had that potential. If I were not there, I wouldn't have come to them. They would have never thought about that also. At the end of 4 years, just 4 years I spent, and at the end of the 4 years, the ladies were asking the panchayat officers whatever schemes, like the pilgrimage schemes were there, no? Old people, they can travel to pilgrimage spots for free. So they were filling up those applications themselves, and they were going, because they didn't have to ask from their sons for money or other things, because it is completely free. So they couldn't have thought about that 4 years before. Now they have done that. So this is, so bringing the potential. When you bring the potential of people, tell them what to do, then the next thing they can do. They have that potential. They have that capability. Only thing you need to is just help them discover their own potential. So I found my love after spending 34 years in all these areas. And how did I start? I'm not an agriculture graduate. My father was in agriculture, and he was doing watershed activities. And he was in charge of Hirakud command area under World Bank project. So he was telling stories always whenever he could. So I was influenced a lot. Like say he was an engineer, but because he was able to show the profit, uh, like say if water is moved conserved this way or water is utilized this way, then this crop will come. And somebody asked me in front of me that the canal is going 6 kilometers away from my field. How do I get water? So what he told him, that farmer, was just dig a well deep enough so that the water level is lower than the canal level. Then water automatically will come to your well. Water due to water seepage, and that way you can irrigate your entire land. He had only 4 acres of land, and after that, within say 2 years, he got 4 jeeps for 4 of his sons, just 4 acres of land, because he did vegetable with the help of irrigation. Can you see the little thing that he did? So I was interested in agriculture, and I did all these things. Whatever project came, no, I took that. But what he did essentially, he actually raised the capability of people. He didn't do agriculture himself there. He just gave small tips and tricks to people. So I came to this stage because of the entire journey. So you also have that journey. So give yourself some thought. Given a situation, which of this would attract you to do for lifelong without, say, getting frustrated or say losing patience and everything? What is the bigger? That is why I asked the vision.
So it is bit, I think, so wherever I begin working with the community 2004 onwards.
Hmm.
So my first project, so where did I work? In Maharashtra at that time. So one watershed program where I have seen the impact of the program, which has reached to almost 4 to 5 villages with a little work. And the people, the impact of the work is so much that so people are starting caring about the program. And so by seeing that impact, maybe I have been staying on this development profession.
Okay.
So other story, maybe I also work, uh, enjoy my work doing little innovations. So
So
because
which,
so while working, while designing the project and implementation, there is a gap. So it can't be implemented as we pursued, as we devise the project. So
yeah,
if we implementation, so entire story will change. So
yeah,
without changing that objective, how can we implement? So
yeah,
to simplify that, also I enjoy and bringing innovations. Maybe because I believe in saving the time. So there should not be any duplication of work and the process should be simplified.
yeah. Okay. So innovation is one area. This is
And
where you,
connecting the people. So whenever I go into the field, I become a little emotion with the farmers. Emotion means I not cry, but so my heart will connect with them and so try to simplify myself that so how can we going to help through the program.
hmm,
So
yes,
while working with the NABARD, so I have simplified the entire reporting system. So it is a Google-based Google Sheet. So so at that time, so DGM everybody is calling me. So I know that so I am handling the project. It is not a one-time task to me. So I have to repeatedly face this, collecting the data and compiling it, generating the report. It took a lot of time. So even though they have scolded me and have set up the system by working 20 days, 30 days on that, once a system is established, and so not only regional office is not appreciated, but head office is appreciated, and everybody is copied it.
Okay.
And so while working with the community in Telangana, so many of the most of the farmers. So when we designed the program, we thought that the cow dung is required, cow urine is required to go for organic way. So while implementation, we thought that there is no cows and in the villages, because the cow cattle population has drastically reduced. So we can see only few. So how to do that? So when I got the NABARD experience, and where one way while doing the monitoring visit, I saw one farmer is doing some innovations. So I picked that experience and I have implemented, and which gives us a very wonderful result. So
What innovation was that?
so that farmer, so he is using that waste decomposers.
Okay.
So that doesn't require cow urine and cow dung.
Uh,
So that is one of the government institute they have developed by extracting these things. So
hmm.
so I have picked that, and I have implemented one project where we implement the for non farming activity in large scale. 5,600 farmer we have to work. So we picked that idea, and because that is so simple that farmer, if we explain the farmer and some giving some handholding support, so it can be easily adopted to them.
Um, So where from you got those cows? Because you said there were not.
So because while designing, so we have some assumption that so this much of cow. So while designing, we'll find that cow urine is required, but we don't know while writing the proposal this much of quantity is required.
Hmm.
When we start operating, when we start its planning, at that time we realize that it won't, that much of is not possible
Hmm.
to ground this much of minutes of activity. So what could be the easiest way so that we can effectively implement show the impact?
Hmm.
So we did a lot of brainstorming. So what way we have to go and how much we have to collect these things.
Hmm.
But all that is not viable. So collecting and doing centralized uh, farming, organic manure, that
Hmm.
is not feasible, and so we switch to that decomposer. These things,
Acha, this decomposer was a some machine, right?
not machine. That is a it is a extract of. They have some, that is an extract of cow dung and cow urine, and they have stored it into preserved in a bottle.
Okay, okay.
So
So
when we mix it to
it was
water
a
and jaggery,
concentrate.
when we mix it to water in jaggery, so it will be multiply the bacteria within that, it will multiply, and so that can be used in
Acha,
crop.
it was in a concentrated form which could be diluted afterwards, right?
Yeah, it's like that only.
Okay. Wow. So
Because nowadays spending corporate budget is also one of the concern. Um, spending corporate sanction amount. So annually they have sanction, so we need to spend that amount within that year.
Ah,
So because we as a non-profit organization, so we assume that so we'll spend this amount, so we want this amount. So we have to be flexible. So whenever I design a proposal, so I will assume that this will be the one area, so we need to spend this.
ah,
So in one of the project, we kept so much of flexibility that without compromising the impact.
hmm.
So we have utilized that. So we have kept ourselves lot of options. So this will not, if this not happen, so will work. So like how we have utilized that amount. So in that, so monitoring and interacting with the community, involving the team, and because so the field team, they are only one who has to implement the activities. So I am the one who take the risk. So whenever I go in the NABARD project area, also without any consent of our DGM, so when while instruct, I used to instruct the field team that so this is so you have to do this work, because lot of while monitoring the NGO, I have found that so it's a malpractice that they compromise the quality, and so their priority is on spending the money, not giving the result. So so whenever and based on the suitability, so I have taken the risk that so I have given approval. So because I have the backing of my superior, so that whenever I take a decision, so they approve it. So accordingly, so I have given the suggestion, and the result is also came. So there are many instances that so some of the small interventions in watershed, so that has been innovated and has been replicated in NABARD programs.
So those small interventions I would need from
Yeah.
you. So how do we do that? Can you write those innovations and send to me, or would you say I'll write? Because no, that will require some explanation. I think some elaboration.
So,
So
so in NABARD, so IGWDP program is one program where I have been working as a consultant
hmm,
with the one of the RSO. So while doing community contribution, so I went there, and so I have suggested them few structures. So they used to go for the stony structures.
hmm,
So stony structures, that is very good to spend the money, but the impact is not that much.
hmm,
So instead of that, I have suggested a few changes. So instead of going for the stony structure, I suggested them for go for digging a trench, and whatever the extract is there,
hmm,
or the earth extract, create the bund.
hmm,
And I have given some simple solution that so you have to take care of these things.
hmm.
So we have facilitated to do the five structure there.
Pi.
Five structures we have facilitated. Uh, so the impact is so much that so it has created a very good impact, and so cost benefit ratio is also wonderful, and in terms of increasing the groundwater is also high. And whatever the simple suggestion I have given to the site engineer, he said that oh, this structure is very good, so I can do these things. The
Hmm,
next day he constructed other structures, but he forget the advice what I have given to him.
hmm.
And next day rainfall is came, his structure is flown away.
Okay.
So he said that so whatever you suggested I have did, but your structure is not broken, and the structures which I did, it has been broken. I said that so you have missed this simple steps. Instead of you have gone by assuming that only putting the matti on grass. So I that you have to remove the grass first.
Okay.
And by seeing that impact, so that has been replicated in other NABARD supported program.
Yeah.
And so this innovation has assured my position in NABARD.
Hmm.
So by seeing this innovation, so NABARD officials, so they thought that they have invited me to take a as a consultant with the NABARD.
Okay. Okay. So, anything you can remember about these kind of innovations?
So other innovations in terms of operational. So during the COVID,
Hmm.
one of the projects. So one of the one team we have got the CSR project sanction, but due to second phase of lockdown,
Hmm.
so we have stuck. The team member, one of the team member, he got COVID, and so other team member they got uh, due to physical distance. So they have stuck in their. We advise them not to come to the
Hmm.
office, and I have interacting and that what to in what phase. So we have to reach out
Huh.
because our training budget is also freezed because we can't use the that budget. So I thought so same the next last year. So this month, May second week or third week.
Huh.
So in what way and within the budget which we have,
Hmm.
so we conceived one simple program. So
Hmm.
it is a Teacher Mitra program. The sowing season is
What
there.
program?
So Teacher Mitra program.
Bija Mitra.
Hmm.
Bija Mitra.
So seed, because that area where farmers pesticide and fertilizer consumption is very high.
Hmm.
We thought that there is a season is doing works is gone and interaction is not possible because COVID is there.
Hmm.
So we identified volunteers and we conceived the program that is not there in the part of the program, but
Hmm.
our objective motive is to reach out the farmers to
Hmm.
introduce ourselves who we are
Hmm. Hmm.
because
Hmm.
in that area that is a because remote area bordering to Karnataka, Maharashtra, that area and nobody's they know they don't know non-profit and what they do and when we went to there they are saying that we came for buying the land like that
Hmm.
to break that barrier and we have the opportunity budget. So I have considered this program, DJ Mitra program.
Hmm.
So where we have identified around 100 volunteers and we have oriented them, these volunteers that do the seed treatments with the organic bacteria,
Okay.
fungus and bacteria. So we have procured around 500 kgs of this organic these things, and we have transported and we have treated
500 what? Ton?
kg kg.
Kg of organic supplements,
Yeah, supplement.
organic bacteria, right?
Uh, so we have trained our schools. So we have instructed to prepare the training for this vision mitras. So accordingly, we have oriented them. So,
Hmm.
so we have said that home to home and farm to farm approach. So we have followed. So this Bija Mitra and our farmers, they have carrying this organic content with them, and they are explaining, and in that time only they are treating their seed with this organic solution. So initially, that help us to introduce while interacting with the farmers. They normally ask that who you are and why they are do, and that conversation helped us to introduce ourselves. And normally, farmer allowed us to do that seed treatment. And this and we told farmer that to let experiment in small patch of area, and we will not give you entire your requirement. So within 1 or 2 months, so they have seen that there is a 100% germination, and the germination is also healthy, and that helped us to mobilize the farmers and to convey our intent. So with the spending of less than 1 lakh rupees, so we are able to reach 100% of targeted community of the 4 year. So in a year we used to reach 1,000 for 1,200 or 1,200 farmers. So with this innovation, so we have reached 4,500 farmers to communicate our the intention of the program.
So by spending less than a lakh, you could reach 5,000 farmers, right?
And it is not spending the amount. So we have communicated the message that the who we are and what purpose we came. So there is a thought in the community that so we are the agency. If so if we do the work in their farm, so we'll steal their land. So that bias is there. So with this activity, so we said that so this type of simple activity is going to do with their farm plan. So like how so we got trust. So we are able to build the trust among the community. So that lead to smooth implementation of the project. So whenever our field team they goes in the village and there are many people, they will come and gather. We recognize them. So while working with the IWMP, so I have given this idea with the team, but after that giving the idea, so they have implemented it. So that worked really wonder.
So this was while working with the IWFP, right?
Yeah, no, this was with the one this the experience which I have already shared. Na? So while working with the water.
So this is this is working with WOTR. Later on, you did with IWFP.
No, it's IWMP 2011. So so it's in that time also I have understood the how with what ways IWMP program implemented by water. So during that program, so I thought that so what way we have to achieve. So I have suggested my field team that to do the we will do the campaign. So putting a mic on a tractor and will identify the 2 to 3 effective structures, so which will be beneficial to the community. So we identify that compounding and horticulture. Another one structures we have identified are the potential activity that area, and we started.
Hold on, Anand. Let me take down what all you told. You told about horticulture, farm pond.
So I have chosen these two activities, and so we have explained. So instead of doing the Gram Sabha, because Gram Sabha, if you do the Gram Sabha, the outreach is very few. So in a Gram Sabha, 4 to 5 people will come. So instead of doing that, so what I have suggested what we have conceived the program is that so we'll campaign. So we'll hire a vehicle and put a mic in that, and we'll campaign in the village, so that we'll explain about the work, and so whoever interested, whichever farmer is interested, they can enroll on spot, and technical person will come and do the survey, whatever the technical requirement is there. So based on that, so in that way, so we have mobilized many members to take the activities, like how we have achieved the progress.
Okay.
So apart from that, so I was the visiting faculty member for horticulture college.
Visiting faculty for horticulture college.
So where I have taken the engineering program.
When was this? Which year was this?
So till 2021,
Starting from?
2015.
So 6 years you taught, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what did you do? What new things you could teach these students, or what new experiments you did?
So because for me, so while I found there is some, because we have worked directly with the communities and
Hmm.
we know that how to the technology will beneficial to them.
Hmm.
For me, giving practical examples
Hmm.
while teaching them is quite I found so I'm very comfortable to explain them for their problems.
Hmm.
So I have taken remote sensing and GIS application. So yeah, so while telling them the practical application of that technology, so I can comfortably I can tell them that so these are the area and how can do this. So that helped me.
Hmm. So how remote sensing GIS activities helped in explaining better production?
Yeah, so because of my experience, I'm able to tell them that horticulture graduates. So suppose they become a horticulture officer.
Hmm.
So they have interest to know that how much area and how much which crop, how much area
Hmm.
is there is to know these things. So they required application part of the GIS. So they
Hmm.
have to digitize these things.
Hmm.
So how the remote sensing data can be used to do the classification
Hmm.
of this area.
Capture data to
Hmm.
classify the area crop wise, right?
Hmm. Because many time so we learn many things in a college, but the application part we miss. Maybe that is the one of the lacuna of our Indian system of teaching. So while working, we came to realize that, oh, we learn because of this thing. Sometimes we don't know why they have teach us algebra, all these things.
Yes.
So once it is reversed, we set a goal like you have setting the goal for every student. So what we want to become. So
Hmm.
based on that, so these are the subject you have to study, and
Okay.
these are the correlation. So that been the love and doing learning is there. So day before yesterday, I'm thinking that so why can't I learn the software skill? Again today morning that so I am diluting myself. I have to learn. So
What you wanted to learn?
so I wanted to learn the software skills because many of the things maybe maybe I thought that so this is not giving the remuneration. So I thought that so I have a domain experience in this field. If I know the software skills, I can do the application part of it. But this is a it is a very risky this thing.
This can be a collaborative effort, Anand.
Yeah, right.
Suppose let somebody else design the software part, And because the software person will not have time to learn all this.
Yeah, but to make a collaboration, so some fundamental understanding is required.
No, like say, like a person like me can be the catalyst, right? To take you and the software person,
Yeah.
bring them together at one place. So I'm thinking of that only. Right now, my portfolio is like that because I'm a consultant to several organizations also.
Mhm.
So right now, what I'm doing is um, bringing many stakeholders to the same table. Um, uh, I'm working with a microfinance association. Like say, it has 200 microfinance institution, and policy regulation is there, and also technology issues are there because people are doing the same bookkeeping and other things, right? So right now technology is required because they are spreading a lot, and in order to avoid fraud and other things, you need technology. So the requirement of technology is like say felt everywhere in every domain. But these people, whoever is doing microfinance, they can't go and do the software skill part because they won't have that time. But the finance understanding they have, and the implication. So what I'm doing is bringing these people plus the technology people, and we are trying to develop app. Like say right now you understand, you know, the because people like say lot many people, 3-4 crore people are there under microfinance. It is not possible to have their all the data say individually. So we are proposing to have a cloud based database. So you know, so a lot of time I keep on talking to these people. So I'll connect you with all those kind of requirements. Don't worry.
And another thing, so in Telangana, so water works in almost 8 states. So here in under my jurisdiction, so I have changed. So I have departure from the committee approach.
What approach?
Committee. So they used to do a watershed committee.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Committee.
So that doesn't have any relevance. So I have worked with the NABARD and I have worked the water and so many years. So after completion of the watershed programs, so this program is confined to the 5 to 10 people only.
Confined to what?
Only 5 to 10 people of the committee members.
Yes, yes.
So
Confined.
in Telangana, all these things. So I have departure from that approach. So I have brought the farmer group approach. So here farmer groups means so anybody of that farmer family maybe are the have the right to be a participate in this meeting. So it is not the parallel to the SHG. So we also thought that so we'll go with the SHG members, but however there are some constraints so working with the SHG members because many of the SHGs are defaulter. So we thought that let's begin with the farmer group approach, and we have quite succeeded because of doing farmer groups. So our outreach and our brand
Mm.
is quite visible because so almost so in that programs we have created 400 farmer groups, each consists of 20 members. So it not only helped us to deliver the program with the right people.
Mm.
So because there should not be any political intervention in that. So if panchayat member come and ask me give this intervention to me, so we'll going to tell them that so let's form the group.
Mm.
And because of these activities, there are so many issues while working with the farmers, small issues,
Mm.
because of the fragmented land holding, nucleic families. So
Mm.
farmers not coming forward with the coming in a meeting
Mm.
because of so many uh, burden being overloaded by the farmers
Hmm.
because of the nuclear family. So he has to attend, he has to procure the seed, he has to attend the family function. So he has to go these things that, and he has to come also our meeting. So that's the reason. So participation is reduced. So
Hmm.
we thought that so we have to work with the farmers. So we have to address their extension requirement, and that is this is the reason the FPOs are failed. And so I thought that so we will begin a two-tier approach. So once we successful, and this will be the good case studies where FPOs, we can give the input to the FPOs, how the FPOs to be farms all over the India.
Hmm.
And we are quite successful. And so all the farmer groups, we are also federating them now. So in subsequent programs, so we are forming the farmer groups and federating them,
Hmm.
so that while exit, so we can say that the farmer group again, federation of farmer group become a on good farmer producer organization. So this is the difference. Maybe I have quit the organization.
Yeah, sure, sure. So while you are doing this appeals, now because at farmer level you have understood the farmer level issues very well. Now, what about the leading the appeals? Because the requirement, management requirement of this farmer, one of the farmer becoming the president, the whatever, the chairman and the secretary.
And so we thought that so we'll go with the very low. We have to build the farmer groups case to case basis. It can't be happen. So it can't be done all the FPOs strengthen in a 4 years. Some FPOs maybe build their capacities within a 6 months. Some FPOs required 4 year per year. It's depend upon their capacities and opportunities they get.
Hmm.
And I have adopted very, so my belief is that so farmers should strengthen, they save their trust. So anyhow they have a money, so they start learning to how to save their trust.
Hmm.
So that was the my mantras to all the farmers.
Hmm.
So they believe in that. So we start saving 1 rupees, but you save trust more than. So
Hmm.
then only the institution will going to survive.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So slowly gradually we have to build, because this is the one way we have failed in our cooperative movements.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Cooperative, cooperative also you have done, right?
No, so I have so I did some understanding on that. So many of the our watershed committees, they are under society registration act.
Waterside committee, as you say, are only 6 to 8 members, right?
Yeah, 11 members.
They came
And
cooperative.
within that 5 to 5 members, 3 members are active, all are become.
So tell me more about that, the cooperatives and all.
So I didn't work much on that.
So instead of becoming companies, they have become cooperatives, right? That is what you say
So max, under max.
under Max.
So because so once we register under companies, so compliances burden is there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So because so anyhow we have to register them and make them accountable under one act. So we choose to register them under the max, so
Hmm.
that if they start procuring the seed, the inputs, so slowly they can build their capacities.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So pushing them and register the companies and selling is because, so once the program till it will run till the NGOs backing is there,
Hmm.
and NGOs capacity to facilitate the FPOs is also doubtful.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. So, but no, recently I was working with this Max, multiple acts, no? Max, what is Max? Multiple? States, no?
Mutual aided cooperative society.
Acha. Mutually aided society. So mutually aided societies are registered under the state act or central act?
State act.
State act. So don't you think there will be a lot of interference from this state people?
So because we are initially we have promoting the organization at a very grassroots level. So when interference is when interference will come, so once it matured, become a big corporate house, one turnover is there, 500, 600 crores. At that time, will interference will come.
So you are not bothered about what future, no, future political.
No. For initially, so we have to register them under max. So once they are built the capacities, once they are ready, their practical, actionable business plan is ready. So they may register company X. No. So many of Telangana, many of the FPOs, they are defunct because of they are failed to comply.
Yeah, I know that.
And the cost of compliance is very high.
So between this compliance and then the interference, no, many people have chosen not to go with this thing. But nowadays, many people are also thinking of registering under the state act as cooperatives.
So when interference will come, so Mulk Nuru is there. So their turnover is more than 100 crores. So at that point of time, interference may be happened by the government. So if max is their turnover is less than 1 crores, 5 crores, who bother it?
Okay. The capacity, unless the capacity is built, this
Yeah.
this organization will not have that kind of turnover also.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
once they have a confidence enough to make a visualize that turnover, so they will go for companies act, whatever they act, they preferentiate. That choice we have to give to them.
So one point we can talk about, Anand, is how to um, how to ensure the turnover, no, in FPOs. I would like you to think over this because there, like say, 10,000 FPOs will be built in next 5 years.
I will tell my experience.
Hmm.
So farmer group concept. So I also did a lot of brainstorming myself on this aspect. So normal. So now almost under 4 programs, we have more than 800 farmer groups. So turnover more than that. So I have said earlier that two-tier approach. So one is that. So why should I subscribe share capital, sharehold, subscribe the shareholding? So immediately, I believe that selling a produce is a farmer will not get much difficulties. Maybe the person who sold the seed to him, he can procure that material. Maybe the price variation is there. There is no value addition is there. And though they have some setup, the farmer believes that so money lender or the local fertilizer shop person, they are charging 20%, 25%, 30% interest rate, but they are delivering the input team. So farmers, if we succeeded to give the extension requirement to the farmers, if we succeed in that, if we instill that trust to the farmers, then he'll start listening to us. So maybe so we can give him the input, so which lead to reduction in input cost. So so I have started working with the community in the border areas where pesticide consumption is so high that, so we are saying that use this 10 rupees caustic soda
Hmm.
to reduce the some pest. They are saying that by this way we can reduce it. So simple solution, and we believe as a banker that for money is required. Some maybe certainly money is required to purchase inputs, seed input, but for all the interventions, extension services are must. Handholding support is must. So if we able to build, maybe we can build the turnover on this, and plus some action plan, actionable action plan. Maybe gradually building a turnover is we can strengthen.
Actionable plans means plans that will give some return, bro, some return to the farmer,
Yeah,
or
but
say save him some money. Save.
my belief is on the extension supports, because their input cost, if we at least we are able to cut down unnecessary input to 30 to 40%, and we able to succeed in uh, enhancing the productivity 10%, so it is a 40 to 50% we are benefiting directly without much interventions. We are value adding, cutting the cost.
Hmm.
And first steps, we maybe we can aggregate and sell the produce.
Yeah.
First year, second year, third year, we may add some value to it, because maybe the farmer, maybe he also think that these are the person who they came with another version
Hmm.
to cheat them.
Hmm.
To build the ecosystem, we required steps. So we have to follow the set systematically, and we have to accept that, so whether this particular farmer group is graduated to go for next steps or not.
They-
And most of the cases, government programs, so they are so intense that without assessing the level of these things, they push it, and they make it collapse.
Yeah. Anything else you remember with related to FPOs? Anything else?
This much I have didn't much work with the FPOs. Uh, However, when I took the charge of water and in Telangana as a state head, so I got a three FPOs. I tried to revive these FPOs, but however, compliance burden is so much that I can't mobilize the money. And I try to mobilize the fund with the different ways, but wherever I have touched the things, it has become so these things, so can't able to revive these FPOs. Uh, where one FPOs which has been led by the retired bank manager, so he has quite matured enough, and he applied his experience, and he saved that particular FPOs from the compliance burden. Maybe for FPOs, I think that we should have a cloud solution, technological solution. And if you want to do so, again, who will digitize the data? Again, that became a
Hmm. So this can be one story. So I'll give you tomorrow when we are meeting. Then we'll be discussing. Like say one aspect goes a lot. So tomorrow what we'll cover is like say what other aspects that you have spoken, right? Um, you right now you spoke about CSR activities which led to the discussion on FPOs and all, right?
Yeah.
So tomorrow we will discuss about anything, any subjects. If you can see on the screen, whichever subject you choose, we'll discuss about that, all your experiences. Or if you have still something to share about FPOs, that also you can just write down, list down points so that you don't forget to tell me. While you talk, I'll take down all those and I'll ask questions. So any of this you can take and we can start discussing about this and how to link, with your experience of FPOs. Because ultimately what I'm trying to do is putting all this experience into one tagline kind of. So you will be an expert, one word, and that means everything, right? So for example, you can be the social capital expert, right? Or say climate change. Climate change is the upcoming word, na, fashionable word. So you can be called as a climate risk as expert, which builds all your experience of water security, sustainable farming, and whatever you have done into it. So that you can, wherever you would be required, you can contribute. And also we will along with that, collaboration will be another aspect where wherever you have done some collaboration that we can bring in, or you can just cite because there will be few organizations with which I can connect you, so that also your association with NABARD is good enough, and practical field, whatever extra people are doing, because they are doing just small thing. As I say, the backward and forward linkage, with regard to Raggy, somebody has done, and he also has developed a some technology wherein he can actually measure what impact he is making. So I can connect you that. And a third organization is that WRMS, na, they are doing like say safe keep of income. So the crop are subject to climate vulnerability and all that. So they are working on income protection rather than crop protection. So income protection is, suppose 1 acre of paddy is there and they are supposed to get say 10,000 rupees out of that crop, and suppose something happened, then the crop is washed away or something, still they will get that money. So they are working on that. So maybe that also. Yeah. So tomorrow we'll be speaking on this. You want to, and I will be arranging this. Whatever you have told, I have just taken down the note. I'll be arranging this into stories.
Okay.
So as I promised you, I'll be building stories about your experiences, so that it will be easier for you to tell those stories whenever you are being approached by somebody, or you are appearing an interview.
Okay.
And also with your resume also we can bring in, we will like say compact your resume into one page, and we'll build on the cover letter so that it becomes very impressive. That will be the subsequent stages. Yes. And let's say tomorrow we'll be doing all this one aspect, more discussion about that. And if you have some few organizations where you would like to work, If you have that list, that also will be very helpful for me to go and research what they want, and you can also research also. If you have in mind national and international organizations, that will be very helpful
Okay.
to know, ask and know more about that. And
Sure.
another thing is the impact investors, these people are looking for these kind of stories only, right? Impact investors are looking for people or organizations which are working with results, producing results. That is what impact is. And then they can invest in scaling up. So if you have that dream in mind also, that will be helpful. Like I have a dream of having medicinal cultivation in areas where the animal devastation is very high, like in say Uttarakhand. The monkey and the wild pig devastation is very high. So they are not able to grow any edible crop like pulses and rice and other things. So medicinal, that is why the people are migrating, huge migration from Uttarakhand. So to arrest that migration, we can do medicinal. So I have started some work with that. Let us see how much we can do.
Yeah.
So if you have all this, keep thinking, whatever comes to your mind, you can just jot down so that we can discuss.
Sure.
Yeah. So thank you, Anand, for the such a no. It also gave me a lot of thing to um, orient myself also.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for helping me to come out
Yes, sure, sure. We
in
will.
those plans which has been created.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
See you same time tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.